Hello YouTube and welcome back. This is Nico and you're watching Dare to Game. Today we're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, but we're not really here to play the game, we're here to talk about the game. And given the time of year, I think it's very appropriate to talk about the Game Awards. We're obviously going to be talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance in this video, and the problem I'm going to be addressing in this video, or at least attempting to address, is how and why Kingdom Come Deliverance, and by extension Warhorse Studios, were completely snubbed at the Game Awards. Now, they won some awards, and I'll go into those. But at the Game Awards, the most important, I guess you could call it, the most recognized awards ceremony, they weren't even nominated in categories that they should have won, just based on the quality of the game, the product itself. So first of all, let's talk about the awards that they did win, because I was able to find 3 that they won, and they of course deserve them. The first one being Best PC Game Award at Gamescom. So that's awesome. Great there. I would agree. It is the best PC game released this year for, a lot of reasons. The second one they got is Best Narrative on SEGA Game Awards. I'm not familiar with the show, but that's because I'm an American, because SEGA stands for Central and Eastern European Game Awards. And then they won Best RPG of 2018 in Game Debate. I'm also not familiar with that. Must be a smaller one. But congratulations on those. They deserve them. Definitely. 100% deserve those awards. The issue I have is that I think they deserved more awards. Now, I can see the argument that this wasn't Game of the Year. For me, it is. For me, this is Game of the Year, and I played a lot of great games this year. But this one is Game of the Year for me. So, let's just get that off the table right here and there. But I can see the debate about why it's not, just based on the other games that were released and how well they did and how great some of them were. But this game wasn't even nominated for Best RPG in the Game Awards. What was 4 Japanese games, one of which wasn't even an RPG, and that's the one that won. Monster Hunter World, good game, decent game, not an RPG. And it won Best RPG over this game, which is a amazing RPG, released by what could essentially be called a startup indie studio that has produced one of the best AAA games I've played in years. Now, this is a fantastic game, and to be snubbed like that is BS. But I've come up with 3 reasons that I can think of, and I'll go through them from what I consider to be least impactful and least likely to be an issue in these awards to most. Okay, so let's just start it off at number 3. So at number 3 we have bugs on release. Now this is one that a lot of people like to point out. You look into Reddit and forums where people are talking about this, and rightly so, because this is something that has surprised a lot of people. Everyone's like, well, it's a bugged game and it was bugged on release, it was unplayable, blah blah blah, all this sort of stuff. And that's why they didn't get any awards. And then, people will point out, okay, well, have you ever played games from Bethesda? The ones who rake in the awards every time they release an Elder Scrolls game? Don't get me wrong, love Elder Scrolls. Not trying to disparage that. But Bethesda is the king of bugs. They make Kingdom Come Deliverance look like a joke because of how many bugs they have. Kingdom Come Deliverance doesn't even come near to what a Bethesda release has, on release. If you need any proof, just look at Fallout 76. It's a prime example of what I'm talking about here. And still, they slay at awards. So the bugs just isn't enough for me. Plus, Warhorse has worked diligently since release to fix the bugs, make things better. And right now, playing it is a beautiful experience. It's smooth, you get decent, high frame rates. Right now I'm running 60 on ultra high settings. The details are awesome. It's dynamic. The issues with texture pop-ins are gone. Seriously, it's a completely different experience now. And it's because they care about the product and put the time in. So that reason, I'm just going to call that debunked right here and there. Reason number 2 is one that I've seen around, and I kind of get this one, so I'll call this one slightly more realistic. But still, I've got reasons why I don't buy it. And this one is, of course, the niche audience. And now what we have here is a slow, old-school medieval RPG with no magic fantasy elements, set in historically accurate and realistic 1400s Bohemia. Now, yes, like I've said, yeah, okay, that's a niche audience. Specifically, an audience looking for that is extremely niche. That's not something that a lot of people were asking for. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have, widespread appeal. This is a sprawling, immersive, open-world medieval RPG. One that is very choice-driven, the narrative is strong, the composition is amazing, the direction is very unique, new. It's just amazingly immersive. So I think that this is not what has been described as a niche game. It sold between 1 and 2 million copies, which I think is criminally undersold, but still that's a lot for the studio's first game ever. That's very impressive and deserving of recognition. So, reason number 3, and what I consider to be really the most realistic one, the thing that I think really impacted them the most, and that is the PC police cracking down on Warhorse Studios because of their disagreements with the direction of this game and Daniel Vavra, you know, the head of the whole project. Now, basically, this game is meant to be historically accurate and realistic to the time period, which means in 1400s Bohemia, yes, you might see minorities, black people, that sort of stuff. It's not out of the realm of possibility, because sure, they existed, and maybe they would be in this area, but it would not be the norm. And while I normally don't get too political on this channel, you know, this topic here has me all fired up, because this is where the issue comes in. That's not good enough for people. They're like, well, it's a video game. You press X to jump. That's not realistic. Okay, well, we're gonna call that semantics, because that really has nothing to do with the topic at hand. Yes, it's a video game, but that doesn't mean it can't be accurate and true to the time period and the location. And they did very, very meticulous research and work to make this game very realistic. And that shows through, because the product is amazing, and it feels like you're actually there. But they were attacked senselessly by game journalists, the exact people who are in charge of nominating and voting for games at the Game Awards, for this not being PC enough. And they didn't back down, and now they're not being awarded for it. That's the reason I think this is. Because if you look around, it's a stunning game. They've done amazing work for such a small company, such a small startup. And they have done nothing but support their fans and try to make sure that the game is as good of an experience for them as possible. They don't have any microtransactions. The DLCs, while small, are cheap. They're not overcharging for them. If they're really only for people who are huge fans of the game. If you're a casual KCD player, which there's nothing wrong with that, I fully support people who think that they would just be casually interested to play the game, because you'd probably like it. But if you're just a casual player, that's not what the DLCs are for. They're for people like me. People like Knights Arcade. People like Sexy Biscuit. People who really enjoy the game. Really love playing this game and want to play more of it. That's what the DLCs are for. And for us, that's not too much money. You know, we really enjoy it. We're willing to pay that. So that's great. And it doesn't take away from anyone else's experience. Warhorse Studios is a fantastic company. They made a fantastic game that should have been given the award for Best RPG of 2018 because they earned it. Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. If you did, I can assume you liked the content, and hopefully you'll subscribe and turn on the notification bell. If you haven't already, check out these links I have on the screen to see me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you like my content and would like to support what I do here, there's a link to my Patreon account in the description, and a donation would be much appreciated. In any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day.